All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Episode of the Orange and Black SoccerCast. I'm sort of exhausted at this point because I stayed up way too late celebrating an awesome basketball match or basketball game that saw the LA Clippers come back from 31 down to beat the Golden State Warriors, the team that everyone thinks is basically a shoo-in for the NBA championship. But this is a SoccerCast, so we're here to talk about soccer, and we're going to go and do that. This is the Orange and Black SoccerCast.
We are underway in the postseason, the first playoff game ever played in Orange County.
It's a 1-2, Godoy. He's found a great ball into Voltson. Plenty of time. He smashes it home and doubles the visitors' lead. Thomas Voltson.
Now Segber sprinting forward on the counterattack. A little handsy there, crosses it. Pineda, the extra pass. Seaton finishes.
It rolls down to his left and burying aside. Well taken care of by the Orange County keeper.
We'll leave it for Aiden Quinn.
He'll strike towards goal, and it's gone in! An equalizer and a winner in second half stoppage time for Orange County off the left boot of Aiden Quinn.
This is the Orange and Black SoccerCast, the only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. Follow us on Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast and on Facebook at Orange and Black SoccerCast. How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black SoccerCast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Samora, and I am with you each and every episode as we discuss all things Orange County Soccer Club. And joining me as he does each and every episode, we've got Dylan from County Line Coalition. Dylan, how's it going?
It's going. It's going pretty well. The weather's nice here, and I'm well rested after sleeping at a normal hour, not celebrating anything that doesn't matter.
Oh, come on. Basketball matters, especially.
No, it doesn't. It's not soccer, and therefore it doesn't matter.
But we always talk about support local. I know it's not soccer, and I know the Clippers play in LA, but at one point in their history, they played roughly about 7 games or so at the Honda Center, what was then known as the Arrowhead Pond of Anaheim. So they're as close to a local basketball team as, at least professionally, as we have here in Orange County. So I figure I got to celebrate. And it's a 30, coming back from 31 points just is amazing. So you could think whatever you want, Dylan, but it was an amazing, amazing thing to see.
All right. Thrilled for you, buddy.
And we also have back, as seems always now, we've got Alan, one of the other members of our podcast and our website. Alan, welcome back.
Thank you, and congratulations on the win. I caught the very end of it and was blown away by the comeback.
And you're talking about the Clipper win, right?
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about the other win soon, but the Clipper win for you, the Clipper win.
And it's amazing when you see that because, again, it's one of those things where people were dissing the Clippers for making it into the playoffs and not maybe trying to tank and get a draft pick. But, it is what it is, and the future is bright for them. But, again, this is a soccer podcast, so we will end the Clipper talk, at least for now. Maybe towards the end I'll have to just talk about it again. But we're going to get into the thick of things.
Have to talk about it. There's already no one listening.
Because we talked about him already to start, right?
Yep.
Yes. And I saw, I think, I don't forget who it was on the chat right there. Was it you, Alan? Yes. A San Diego team that left for LA thanks to the wonderful, ever popular Donald Sterling, LA Clippers. But let's get into Orange County Soccer Club because that's what we're here to talk about. And it was a great week for Orange County Soccer Club. When we last left you, you listened to our podcast the day of the game as Orange County hosted Tacoma Defiance. And, I think all three of us were hoping for a very good, strong performance in that match and maybe a continuation from what we saw in the match prior to that. And I think I don't think any of us were disappointed. Let me go to you first, Dylan. Right? We weren't disappointed in what happened Wednesday night against Tacoma.
I don't know how anyone could be disappointed. It was a really good team showing from everyone. And we utterly dominated that game. I mean, possession, passes, that's the same thing. But Tacoma had no real chances. They had no shots on target, which was hilarious. But they couldn't do anything And the quality of our team was so evident, and I think everyone's starting to finally click and work together. And there's a couple little last things. That last ball up top, they just need to work on that a little bit more, but it's starting to click and it's really apparent. And I think everyone on the team was happy to get another victory, and a big one at that. It was a good party on a Wednesday. I'll put it that way.
I can believe it. It was amazing. And according to the stat that Dylan shared there, Alan, it means you could have been in between the post for Orange County and we still would have come out victorious. What are your thoughts on that?
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, 0 shots on target. They had that one really big chance early, like a free header in the box and just put it wide. But other than that, like McLean could have just set up like a easy chair out there, a nice iced tea to enjoy his nice Wednesday evening. It was the first time I got a chance to see OC play in person, and they did not disappoint. I even got a chance to head out over to County Line and hang out with the folks over there and take in the atmosphere that they were creating. And that was pretty fun too. Shout out to Andy.
I think everyone loves Andy when it comes to, County Line Coalition, all that stuff.
I
know we do here on a
Andy
podcast
in
here.
general.
Yes, it doesn't have to do with County Line Coalition. I think he's just a cool dude. He has supported Dylan and you, Alan, on this podcast and all the stuff we try to do to help support the club. So we appreciate that. I'm glad you got to actually meet him and talk with him in person. And hey, what better way to watch your first Orange County match than in the press booth up there, doing your thing, getting around the stadium, and it's almost like you had the VIP experience there for your very first time at the stadium.
I had the personal tour from Dylan, kind of show me around. It's a great stadium. I can't wait to see that area develop and make a kind of a point where people come just to hang out any evening, and then have a soccer match there would be like an added bonus for some people. But I think once that area kind of builds up, I think it's a destination in that Irvine area because it's great facilities, really nice stadium. It's ever close. You can smell the grass. It's a great place to watch a soccer match. And when they destroy the other team, it makes it a lot more fun to watch too.
Definitely does. And props to the fans that made it out there. It's a Wednesday evening match in Southern California. Lots of other things going on. I'm sure it wasn't the hottest ticket in the area, but for those of you that did make it out to the stadium to support your team, props to you. And I felt like for a Wednesday match, a Wednesday evening match, it was a decent turnout at the stadium. I know we'll probably, or at least I'll probably get clowned by some of the fans from other teams about that. But I felt, again, for Wednesday, not a bad turnout. What are your thoughts on that, Dylan?
I mean, it was pretty empty, but it's a Wednesday night. People are busy. There's other stuff going on. Baseball started. Hockey playoffs are happening.
Basketball playoffs.
Yeah, those things happen or whatever. And I mean, let's be real. We have this conversation like every week. People just don't care here. It's not a major league. They don't care, and that's fine. And I'm like really over the point of trying to argue with people about how it's respectable that we bring like 3K to a game, or like 4K to a game. I just, whatever. If people aren't going to show up, people aren't going to show up. But like and almost everyone I know has spent so much energy and so much time and so much of their breath on trying to bring people to these games, and the general public just doesn't care. And so, oh well. But it does matter. The product on the field, and the product on the field was freaking awesome. So, we'll take it. I'll take it at least.
I'll take it. I'm not going to speak for Alan, but I'm sure Alan will take that too. Let's talk about the game. Dylan, what was your biggest take from that match? Maybe was there any room for any kind of improvement out there from what you saw?
Yeah, we could be a little more clinical if we're going to be a little bit better. A couple chances went missed, and then I was talking with Michael Seaton about this at the end of the game. Just that final pass to him to split the back line is something that needs to get worked on, and that timing will come as they get used to each other. We saw that last year. It took a long time for that to happen, like 10-ish games, I think, and then after that he was on fire. But he was happy to get his first goal, and I think it was pretty obvious when I was talking to him. I don't know how obvious it was when Alan was talking to him, if he let that go through on the interview, but just having the conversation with him, he was pleased. Other than that, everyone's playing well. I still don't think we've had the same back line, or maybe this past game was the same. Yeah, I think this past game was the first time that we'd had the same back four play. But it works. I don't know if Leonardo and Walker Hume is the right decision, because I think against a fast team we might be caught out. But for most of that game, they did I'll say for all of that game, they did a really great job. And then finally, that Brazilian kid's pretty freaking good. I mean, wow. He came on, and it was evident that he came on. There wasn't this guy's here and nothing's happening. It's clear when he comes on every time. He is quick, and he is lethal in front of the goal. It was pretty awesome. And that backflip was pretty awesome. And he was the first player to come over and celebrate and thank us over the County Line Collision. So I think he's going to be one of those fan favorite players, because that kid is really good. It was something to see.
So I have to be jotting notes down what Dylan's covering on this, because we're go back to you now, Alan, and talk about it. I do remember, though, one thing you mentioned, Dylan, is Michael Seaton finally getting that goal on the night. And I know, Alan, you talked to Michael Seaton after the match. I want to just sort of get your impressions of basically his mood or anything like that. But before you do that, let's hear exactly how he sounded when he spoke to you about that.
I fought for that one. I fought for that goal. Yeah, it seemed like it felt like you were kind of pressing just a little bit, things weren't quite clicking for you. The ball was going a little wide here, a little wide there.
Yeah, it's just one of those where I just have to be tuned in. But see, if I would have put my head down, I wouldn't have got the opportunity. Yeah. So it's just I'm going to be frustrated either way, but it's my thing just to keep my head on the swivel and keep playing.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Nice job at it, guys. That's good. The second half, man. Yeah. Exciting to watch again.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Hey, we'll see you.
All right, so that was Michael Seaton. That was only a part of what he spoke to you about, Alan, but you could hear, in his voice there. And I think sort of when he mentioned what I played right there in the piece was you were sort of ending your interview with him. You were saying, great job out there. And I think he wanted to let you know and basically let our listeners know how hard he was fighting out there to get that goal on there. What was your impressions just speaking with him after the match? And could you feel that passion in him and stuff when you were speaking with him, Alan?
Yeah, I could. The other interesting thing he brought up was he felt like the team was already on the right track earlier in the season. Just things weren't quite clicking. It's like we're doing the right things. It just wasn't coming off. I would probably disagree with him with the El Paso match, but I do think that for most of the season, there was a lot of really positive things to take. And they were just believing in themselves and kept doing playing their game plan. He wanted to speak to that, hey, we knew if we kept going, this eventually would happen. And it showed up tonight. We just kept fighting and kept our head up and kept, playing the game we wanted to play. And, the past couple of games, we've seen those sparks of really exciting Orange County play.
And with Michael Seaton out there, I think a lot of Orange County fans were hoping for a nice, strong, quick start for his season. And it's going to come. I think part of his success last season was he was playing with Thomas Enevoldsen. And because Thomas Enevoldsen was more of the prolific player towards the beginning of last season, he got the focus towards the end of the season, which allowed Michael Seaton to sort of slip by the radar until it was pretty much too late and he was already on fire. I think this season, coming into this season, Michael Seaton has a target on his back now. The league knows who he is. The league knows he can score goals. So he's going to have to work that much harder. And I think part of what we're hearing on this also is they have their game plan. They're continuing to play it. I think once it clicks and you get multiple players on this roster, on this lineup, which we're starting to see because we're seeing Darwin Jones has already been off to a great start. Seaton got a goal. Some other players are constantly out there, at least putting pressure on the other team's defense and goalie. And I'm hoping it'll eventually click for Michael Seaton on that, and he'll get the net will open up a little bit easier for him, and he won't have to be working so hard for those goals. Let's talk about Darwin Jones. He's been a topic almost every episode. He's been probably the strongest performer so far in the season. He got another goal on the night against Tacoma. I'll start with you, Dylan. Do you see this as a sort of season-long thing, or do you think this is maybe a quick shot early on and maybe he's going to come back down to earth as the season progresses?
I mean, he's a winger naturally, so I don't think he's going to be scoring like 2 goals constantly, like per week through the next 28 games or whatever it is. But I do think he's obviously really fast. He's really physical, and he's really strong as well. We saw him shake off a lot of challenges in that Tacoma game. He 2 guys on at one point and won the ball from them. They got called back for a foul, which was a weird call. I think if he stays healthy, he's going to be that offensive player that takes a lot of the defense's energy and focus off of Michael Seaton. And if the two start playing off of each other, like we know they're capable of, and like they did towards the end of last year, it's going to be a really good, entirety of the season, I guess I would say. He's one of those guys that I don't think is necessarily going to be on the score sheet, or maybe not even have the assist, but he'll be putting in key passes. He'll be putting in really dangerous runs. He spreads the game out, and then he'll beat the outside back as he cuts in. I mean, he does that multiple times a game, and he's been doing that multiple times over the last almost year that we've been seeing him, and still no one's really been able to manage that. So he's going to keep killing it, I think.
And I know, Alan, you spoke with Coach Braden Cloutier after the match, and he actually mentioned Darwin Jones in the interview and basically sort of discussed that he had spoken with Darwin either during the offseason or when he got signed. Can you recall any information from that conversation you had with Coach?
Yeah, the one term he used was like the spark plug. He's kind of the thing that wakes Orange County's attack go right now. He feels that Darwin is maybe not always like going to be the goal scorer, but he's like the point that everything kind of starts from. Like Orange County had 19 crosses last game. 6 of them were from Darwin Jones. A lot of those are unsuccessful right now. So I think once he figures that out, might not be showing up as goals, but it might show up as, a key cross or a key cross that gets headed back across goal that's put in. We like to do that apparently. So yeah, he used the term spark plug, and I think that accurately describes how Darwin Jones is working in the team right now.
And talk about that. How dangerous is? I mean, our right side of the field is dangerous throughout this whole season. You have pretty much one of the crossers in your right wing and one of the best crossers for your right fullback there. Both pretty much are going to be playing almost every single match. So that's something that I like you said, as the season progresses and Kevin Alston, Darwin Jones, just figure out the right place to put those balls for the players on that roster. As the season goes, we're going to probably see more and more easier goals from players like Michael Seaton, maybe Harry Forrester, even Jerry Von Wolfgang on the back post when some of those balls sneak through.
Yeah, not to mention Aiden Quinn can put in a pretty good ball from time to time too. Yeah, it was. I think Darwin Jones is going to prove very positively, and not to get into OKC, but there was some RGV guys who were giving some of those edge guys a little bit of a problem in their last game, and that just gave me way more hope that that's the kind of the point of attack. I think is attack the wings with speed and then cross the balls back in to your big striker, or if you can get one of your midfield guys in there, or even set pieces. Now you got those big targets, and you got guys who can just pound the ball into the center of the box, and you're going to get some goals that way.
Let's move into the super Brazilian kid, Vinicius. Scored his first professional goal, I believe, in this match. A pretty unusual way to score. I think it went through the goalie's legs off of a misplayed ball. I think the big thing everyone was talking about after the goal and was the celebration. Probably in this early part of the season, the celebration of the year so far. Definitely going to be a nominee for celebration of the year when we do our second annual Orange and Black SoccerCast Awards towards the end of the season. Dylan, what did you guys do out there in the Caroline Coalition area when that celebration occurred on the pitch?
I mean, I turned to the guy that was next to me and said some words I can't say on the podcast. It was really awesome. Like, I think everyone was just kind of like, whoa, this kid just backflip. One, he just made the keeper. One time, like, make the keeper. And then 2, follows it up with a backflip. It was incredible, and I'm all for that I mean, maybe I shouldn't say I'm all for that kind of celebrating because it is pretty dangerous. And I think he's going to score a lot of goals, so I don't want to see him doing a lot of backflips. But
maybe just like an extra celebration for your very first one, but going forward, maybe play it a little bit easier. I mean, he's already a nominee for the celebration of the year, so he doesn't have to work hard at that anymore.
He's going to win it. He's winning that's not in a competition this season.
Unless the players know that this award is a thing that we do, and they're going to now try and top that. Hopefully they don't injure themselves trying to do that. But yeah, I think he's pretty much a shoo-in if no one else tries any kind of crazy flips or anything like that.
Yeah. So I think, wow, what a game from that. He played so well. And then to cap that off, the whole thing was a great performance, and he's quite the entertainer. So I'm a big fan.
Yeah, and you guys were at the stadium. I watched the stream on ESPN Plus, and I sort of because he got that goal. He ran over towards the flag, but not quite to the flag, and then he did almost like a wait for it or calm down to the fans, like almost like a hold on, and then did his flip. It was just such a he set it up perfectly. He did his flip. It was an awesome thing to see. It's definitely something I can't recreate. So sorry, Alan, I'm not even going to attempt that unless you're willing to pay for whatever hospital bills will come from me attempting that. Alan, has there ever been a time in your life where you would have been able to celebrate a goal like Vinicius did?
I'm going to go with emphatically not a chance. I am not much of a jumper, let alone a flipper. And I would not have attempted to do any flipping front or back flips from any height, even if I got like a bonus height, I could jump off of something. My head stays above my feet for as often as possible.
All right, so let's bring this random weird topic. I just thought of it right now. I want to find out from you guys, like, what would be your if your first goal as a professional soccer player, at least in the USL or in MLS, either league in US. What would be your first celebration for that first goal? What would you do, Dylan? I know this is like putting you on the spot. You didn't have no prep for this, so what would be your celebration?
I didn't have no prep. Oof, double negatives. Not a fan, right?
Whatever.
The only way that this would happen is in my dream. I am the guy who scores the winning goal at the USL Cup for Orange County, and so I celebrate. Like in extra time too. So I celebrate by ripping my shirt, like literally ripping the shirt into pieces and jumping into the CLC.
But then once you would get like a yellow card.
I would get sent off.
Yeah.
Because
I think you would. Yeah.
You're not supposed to leave the field of play and you rip off the shirt. So well worth it. It's like the last seconds of the game. So it's totally fine.
So you totally pull like a Las Vegas style celebration then?
No, because I don't have an emoji. Nothing but like
pure, a phone bath, apparently.
Pure passion.
Alan, what about you? Would you do similar? Would you go rip off your shirt and do the whole Hulk Hogan thing?
No, I've always been partial to like the fan involvement celebrations. It's always the coolest when it's like the team's going nuts and the supporter section are going nuts, like a big goal. Like everyone on the field and in the stands are just enjoying this glorious moment and, borrowing maybe like the Lambeau leap, if you will, but like without all of the grabbing, but, definitely running over, maybe doing as much as athletic prowess as I can manage, like the leap onto the side and stand up in front of the supporter section kind of thing. That might be fun.
Alan's got the right idea for sure. You gotta get the fans involved.
I would, just because, FIFA, the video game series, I probably would just do one of the, like those annoying celebrations that players tend to do just because they know it makes you get annoyed. Maybe the one where you just jump down, sit on your butt and just bounce around the field or something. I don't know.
The chicken one's pretty good, where you just fall onto your side and then you like run sideways, like you're a broken toy or whatever.
Yes.
That's my go-to when I'm playing Ultimate Team.
Or that one where they like bend over with their hands palm down and they're doing like something with their shoulders or something like that. Some weird FIFA thing.
Can you show us, please? I'm not exactly sure which one you're trying to show us.
Dylan, you know exactly which one I'm talking about.
Really not.
But yeah, no, I definitely would not attempt a flip like Vinicius. And let's say this, props to you, Alan, because you actually attempted an interview with Vinicius. I don't know what made you decide to bring your own personal translator to the match or anything like that, but you got an interview with him. Let's hear what Vinicius had to say through the words of the translator after the match.
Me siento muy feliz.
I feel very happy.
Vengo trabajando mucho durante la semana.
I've been working really hard every day.
Mike, mi hermano, yo miro Mike estaba solito, preferí dar pase para Mike para salir el gol.
So when I dribbled in and I saw Mikey in a better situation to score the goal, I rather pass to him and he ended up scoring the goal. So Mikey is like my brother for me.
Estoy muy feliz y solamente agradecer a Dios y Orange County por confiar en mi trabajo.
I'm very happy. I believe in God that He got me into success, and thanks to Orange County to believe in me.
I mean, so that's just awesome to hear. I mean, you could tell the guy is grateful for the opportunity he got with Orange County and getting the goal for Orange County and whatnot. So, props to you, Vinicius. If you're able to listen to our podcast, I guess probably not, but if you're able to, props to you. And if it's any of his teammates listening, tell him we say props to you, because that was just an awesome way to score your first goal with Orange County and celebrate it. And give your first
for coming over.
And giving your first, kudos for celebrating with the County Line Coalition. Kudos for being willing to speak with Alan and give a little interview after the match. I mean, totally awesome.
So I'm wondering, I don't want to get killed by the Duolingo bird. So when are you going to send me to like Portugal or Brazil for a Portuguese immersion course? So that
are you asking me?
Yeah. Should I email HR of the Orange and Black SoccerCast? Because I think you are HR of the Orange and Black SoccerCast.
No, you can email HR at Orange and Black SoccerCast, and I'm sure they'll get back to you.
I'll wait for that DNS error.
Or maybe Alan can find a translator for you to teach you.
I'll put out some fillers, see what I can come up with.
You know what we need to do is we need to get like a nice Google Assistant that we could take to the match and put it into translator mode, and that way you can talk back and forth and let them do all the talking, Dylan. We're not yet at that level where we can send you out to Portugal and take lessons. I can't even afford Rosetta Stone for you, so.
All right, come on, guys. You got to sponsor us so that I can go to Portugal and Brazil totally for the immersion and not for any of the other awesome reasons to go to those two countries.
Portugal and Brazil? I mean, you could just do
You don't need to do both. I got to learn the differences between Portuguese, and Brazilian Portuguese.
Okay.
I guess. So what are we talking about now? Like Oklahoma City?
Well, let's wrap up talking here about the Tacoma match. Let me get your ideas. Man of the match or player of the match for this particular match. I'll go to you, Alan.
I'm going to give it up to Vinicius. I think just the way he played, came on in where I have him, came on, I think, the 76th minute and just tore it up. Assist and a goal. I think he was, in a short period of time, probably for me, the player of the game.
Perfect. Dylan, what about you?
Vinicius. I mean, the guy is on the bench for the team of the week. So, and oddly, the only Orange County player included in that designation at all. But
it's all about the celebration. Not really. He did other stuff.
Then he should be the freaking player of the week then.
Yeah, we were talking before we went live. Like, I was surprised that maybe another player, like maybe Darwin Jones again, wasn't out there. Maybe they felt like he was on the previous week and didn't do as much, so maybe they're going to leave him off. There's always a lot of inconsistencies with what we're seeing from what the USL's lists and all that stuff put, and we'll talk about that probably more as we go on. For me, I'm going to go outside the box. I'm going to say like the most valuable player of the week, or whatever, just whatever the week for Orange County is the Seattle Sounders, the parent club for Tacoma, for, refusing to send any help down to help Tacoma like they did maybe against Sacramento, where it was pretty much an MLS squad. And in this instance, we had basically the Tacoma squad, or the young squad. So definitely made the game a lot easier for Orange County. And I'm glad also that Orange County didn't take them for granted, didn't take the win for granted, still went out and got 4 goals against a team that they should have gotten that type of score sheet on.
According to the unofficial Orange and Black SoccerCast stat man, Andy, the average age on Tacoma was 19.9 years. And there were a couple 23-year-olds, so that should tell you just how young that team was.
And it makes you feel like an old man, basically, then.
Yes, and it makes me laugh when people get angry with me and they're playing. Oh, God. That was the highlight of my week.
But it was awesome to see now Orange County's riding a 2-match winning streak. And hopefully they can continue that. They're going to face an Oklahoma City team that, I don't know, middle of the road team.
Hasn't been doing so hot.
I mean, they're not doing so hot, not doing so horrible. There's teams that are, teams that are doing worse, maybe like Hartford. But
Phoenix.
Well, Phoenix got a win apparently. So if Phoenix got a win, they have one win on the season, and they're like top 5 in the USL championship rankings. We'll get to that, but let's look ahead to this OKC match and figure out what we could think. As always, I don't watch much else other than Orange County. My life's just crazy busy. That's why I'm not doing like a USL show. I do just an Orange County show. So I'm going to defer to maybe Alan and Dylan for any of your vast knowledge of what we can expect in this match. But do either of you guys have any thoughts on OKC and heading into this match?
Alan, by all means.
Yeah, I got a couple of things. I watched the second half of their last game against RGV. I'm not sure how many people they sent down, if they sent down any at all to play OKC. But it feels like if you play kind of directly at them, either through the center or through the outside, they are not the greatest at defending right now. It felt like there are some weaknesses there that can be exploited. Obviously, some of the early games, they came out kind of hot, but the guys over at Speedway Soccer do kind of their own like ELO ratings. And right now they have OKC falling down to 13th in the West, just below LA Galaxy 2. Orange County is at 11th right now. So I think we have a pretty good shot. OKC plays kind of poorly on the road, but does decently at home. So my fingers will be crossed, but I think there's some things we can exploit on the wings and through the center if we just kind of press like we normally do. I think there's some weaknesses there that the offense can exploit.
What about you, Dylan? Any thoughts on this match coming into it? Anything that scares you about OKC?
Yeah, to kind of echo Alan's sentiment, like Daddy Dynamo hasn't been very kind to RGV this year. So the fact that team, sans Daddy Dynamo's help, can win against OKC really shows how they've been after the first 2 weeks of the season. I mean, they started really strong, and I think immediately the USL was like, "Oh, look out for Deshaun Brown as the one of the guys for the Golden Boot," and I don't think he's scored since. And they've played horribly since. I'll give them credit. They did draw late on against Reno, but Reno also, as we know, loves to hand teams points, like they did to us. They handed us
points, yeah.
Yeah, they handed us points, and they did it like 3 or 4 other times. So they haven't played too well lately, and I think that's the biggest issue, is that their biggest result, I think, so far this season has actually been the comeback to draw with Reno. And it's hard to say if this team, or if Oklahoma really has the quality to bounce back and say, "Oh, we're better than this," when they go down to an RGV and lose 2-1. I don't think they do have that quality. And I think that our attack is way, way too good for them. So I imagine the Orange County is probably going to fare pretty well and come out on top of this one.
The only thing I guess scary about this match is that it is in Oklahoma City. It's one of the more lengthy travels that a team of Orange County's position in the map has to make. Now, St. Louis used to, I think, be the furthest east team that we had to play, but now that they're in the Eastern Conference, it goes down to one of these other teams, maybe in Texas, Oklahoma, or Kansas City. But that's probably my biggest concern heading to this, is that having to travel a few 2.5 hours or whatever it is, however long it takes to get to Oklahoma City and perform. And it's not like last season where they went out and did like the Oklahoma 2-step there with playing Tulsa and Oklahoma City in the same week. It's pretty much go out there, play Oklahoma City, then come back for a match back at home. So that's my biggest concern on this. Like you both said, Oklahoma City it's almost, I know it's early on, but it's a tale of two seasons so far. They got off to that great start, but then struggling lately, including the most recent match, which was a loss to RGV. But with the way Orange County's been playing, the hope is that they're going to continue to do what they did against Tacoma and score early, or not. I mean, they didn't score early against Tacoma, but put the pressure on, score, and then don't let up and don't allow shots on goal. Hopefully, you're definitely gonna at least draw if you don't allow a shot on goal. So
that's an astute observation there, Ray. I'm really proud of you.
I guess unless the goalie or someone decided to tap in and concede a goal, but
there you go. We've never lost against Oklahoma City under Braden Cloutier and in the system that he plays. It's been 2 close wins, including that awesome comeback last year in extra time, courtesy of a Noah Powder free kick and Aiden Quinn's shot. But like Alan said, if you go at them, I think they struggle. I think that their back line gets really nervous. And I think that our attack is full of guys that love to go one-on-one. We watched Darwin Jones score a goal that's up for goal of the week, going one-on-one with a guy. That's how he loves to play. We watch Harry Forrester beat guys one-on-one constantly. We watch Jerry Van Wolfgang do it constantly. We watch Michael Seaton split back lines, and then it's a one-on-one with the keeper. We can probably manage to score a couple here, and it'll be just fine.
Yeah, I don't think OKC has a clean sheet all season. They have a -2 goal differential as well. Like, they're going to give up some goals. If Orange County can get them early, I think it puts OKC in a bad position. OKC does give some up, so if you get down a goal, you can still fight. I think it's important for Orange County to get one on the board first, kind of set the tone, and I think it'll be Orange County controlling the game. If they can get the first one, regardless of how early or late they get the first one, I think OKC's got some trouble because they just give up goals.
And we saw a really good job from everyone on the team, but especially the back four in the first, I would say, 30 minutes against Tacoma, playing well on the ball, soaking up the pressure. Same thing against Colorado, actually, where they were just content to hold the ball, and rather than try and force a pass, wait for somebody to open up, move the other team around a little bit. So if they keep doing that in Oklahoma, should be just fine.
So then let's ask this question, because Tacoma, they pretty much started the same lineup, except for Aiden Quinn, I believe, was inserted into the starting lineup over the previous match. Do you see Orange County pretty much going with the same starting 11, or is there any spots where you're seeing maybe a rotation in this match, Dylan?
I don't know if Darwin will play. He's played a lot recently, and I don't think it's that he's not capable, but whether or not he's just a little tired or banged up from the last few matches, he did get subbed off early against Tacoma, and I don't know what was going on, but you could see around 70 minutes in, Harry Forrester motioning to the bench to get Darwin subbed off. So I would say maybe the change with the wingers, but I think the back four will probably stay the same. It's not a big field or anything. They play on turf, and then maybe either Leonardo or Walker Hume gets switched out for Hugo Arellano.
What about you, Alan? Do you see any changes or potential changes in the roster or in the starting 11?
I mean, they played last Wednesday, so they're going to have some time off. So I don't know how the tired legs are going to factor in. I do think, the swapping Darwin Jones for Vinicius, maybe swapping the roles they played, where you start Vinicius and then DJ comes in on the 75th minute when they have tired legs and just either gets you the goal you need or breaks the tie or just puts the game away. I do think that back line shout is pretty good. Leonardo and Walker Hume played very well. They caught Tacoma offside 5 times. A lot of those were early against Justin Dillon. There was that one free header late, but you want to keep that height, but you also want to make sure you got that speed to keep up with the OKC attack. I don't see a whole lot of changes. Like I said, that Vinicius Darwin Jones shout's pretty good. and also maybe swapping out one of your center backs. But I think the more consistency, the better. They preach that a lot about how they feel like they're finally coming together and filling each other out. So you kind of want to ride that wave while you can.
Perfect. And let's go to game predictions or match predictions. Score and maybe the key player for the match. Dylan?
3-1 Orange County. I think Oklahoma will get one on the break because they are a really quick team. So I do think they'll pull one back. I'm gonna say that Michael Seaton is gonna be the big man for this game. I think that last little pass to him will finally get worked out, and we'll see the benefits of that.
Awesome. What about you, Alan?
I was also filling 3-1. I think OK can give up some goals. Orange County is rolling on a high. I'd like to see Harry Forrester finally break through. I think he's been kind of right on the edge, been putting some shots in. I think it's his turn to kind of put one in and start a streak going. And I also think Michael Seaton kind of, as a streaky player, gets another one.
Awesome. I'm going to go 4-1 Orange County. I think they're just primed to keep scoring some goals. And I hope to see that. My, I guess, man of the match or whatnot will be Aiden. Like to see him just sort of get going and maybe get a couple goals in this match. Goals in the season, but love to see him maybe get a couple goals, get a brace, or maybe even a hat trick in here. Put together a few assists.
Oh, Aiden Quinn hat trick.
That would be awesome. Trust me. But a brace, I would take a brace and maybe an assist in there for the 4-1 victory in Oklahoma City.
So you would list an Aiden Quinn hat trick before an Aiden Quinn assist in this game?
Either one I'm fine with. Three, he's going to contribute to 3 goals, whether it's a hat trick or 2 goals and an assist, 1 goal, 2 assists. However you want to put that together, he's going to be the key factor in what's going to give us the 4 goals in this match. But the only reason I sort of changed the last minute, because I was going to go with Harry Forrester. I think I've picked him already a couple times this season. I've seen that he's sort of ready for a little bit of a breakout, so I'm hoping to see something from him as well, because he definitely, at this point, he needs to get a goal in there. So I'm feeling, we have Darwin Jones has been getting some goals. Michael Seaton, I think, has opened up that goal now, and he'll continue to score. I think if we can get Harry Forrester that first goal in the USL, it'll sort of open up the floodgates, and he'll, be confident and be able to get some goals in there. So I'd love to see that as well. All right.
Fair. He seems frustrated. He seems frustrated, like he's trying to force it, and that's not helping anything. Well, man, he's a red card waiting to happen if this keeps going.
Well, I mean, even 2 matches ago where he had basically a one-on-one with the goalie and he just kicked it over the goalpost. It's that type of thing where I think at this point, like you said, he's trying to force it. He feels like he should be able to score at this level. And the fact that it hasn't gone in, the longer that goes, it's just going to get him more frustrated. But I think once he can unlock that goal, it'll open things up, and we'll see. Because, I mean, talking with people we've talked about with Harry Forrester, Dylan, he's a goal scorer. He can score goals. It's just maybe some other things have taken its toll or taken away from maybe a better career than he could have had at this point. But we do know he can score goals, so that's what I want to see out there from him. Let's do this. Let's get into some other stuff going on. In Orange County news, what do we have? I know Darwin
Frankie
Jones.
Amaya.
Okay, let's go to Frankie Amaya first. Go for it, Dylan. Let our listeners know, for those that haven't been following social media, what's going on with that.
Well, if you don't follow Cincinnati social media, then you won't know what's going on.
Well, we retweeted the article on our site, so if they follow us, they would potentially know what's going on as well.
Got it. I love Alan's comment about you looking like you're going to help him get better car insurance with your headset. But number 1 overall pick of the 2019 MLS draft, number 24, Frankie Amaya. He's born in Santa Ana, went to UCLA for a year. He's only 18. They announced that he'll be joining us on loan, or that he's already joined us on loan and probably already trained with the team. So he's not a big player by any stretch of the imagination. I think he's listed at 5'4". I don't know how accurate that is. Maybe he's like 5'7" or something.
Or maybe he's like 5'2" or something,
Yeah, I guess we'll find out when we see him. But obviously, he's got some quality. UCLA's men's program is known for being exceptionally good, and generally, I think number one overall players are also pretty good. So I think what Cincinnati's recognized is that this guy is good enough, not quite good enough for the MLS yet, but if he's playing regularly, he'll be good enough for the MLS soon. And it makes sense. Send him home. You know, he can live in Santa Ana with his parents or be back at home, and hopefully that provides some sort of a boost. I don't know where he's going to fit in on this team. I think he's going to be competing in an already really deep position against guys like Aiden Quinn and guys like Charlie Adams. I don't think he competes necessarily with a Liam Trotter just because he's not that physical presence. I don't think he's got the ball playing skills, and he won't drop back like Liam Trotter does. But, you know, it's always great to get some more depth, and who knows where we'll put him. But, I mean, it's not costing the team anything, so why not? And he's another local guy, so it'll probably bring some butts and seats as well. It's kind of a win-win situation for Orange County.
Well, and it's definitely a win situation for FC Cincinnati. You're sending a player back to his hometown. You know, chances are he could have maybe been a little homesick out in Cincinnati. It's definitely a lot different than what you have in LA.
They like eat spaghetti with chili or something like that.
Yeah, some weird concoction that they think is like this amazing thing. But you know, you send him back home. Maybe you know he was a little homesick. It also shows that FC Cincinnati at least has a little bit of faith in the training that Orange County does, because you're not going to want to send him to a team where he probably won't get a lot of playing time if you're not at least comfortable with the training he's going to get there, especially being that he was the #1 pick in the super draft this past year. So good opportunity on there. And it's good just as Orange County just maybe see, you know, what potentially might be there. You know, there were some players, you know, there was a player that was on our squad last year in Mark Segbers that, you know, got an opportunity, then went up to New England, but for whatever reason, New England released him. And so you never know. I know this is the #1 pick in the super draft, so I don't think a team like FC Cincinnati would give up as quickly. But you're bringing in someone, giving them a chance to train with a quality team and be around family and friends, and maybe get an opportunity here and there, which would be awesome. What about you, Alan? What are your thoughts on this loan?
I mean, he's got called up for the U.S. men's national team U20s for the March friendlies. So, I mean, he's definitely a player. I'm excited that he gets to wear authentic jerseys now instead of the replicas. It's a deep cut for those of you who've been following MLS soccer. I just think anytime you're adding more depth is the better. I mean, we've seen the first couple of games, you know, with Aiden Quinn getting out with injuries, like you don't know. You just have like a couple bad games, a couple guys go down, and all of a sudden your midfield that has 40 people now has like 3. So I think it's always great the more depth you can add, especially young talent that can come on and kind of be that spark plug, be that energy at the end of the game, or give your guys a spell. I think anytime you can add those guys, it's good.
I think the only frustrating thing is this is probably one of those loans where FC Cincinnati can call them up whenever they feel like it. I know that sort of frustrated some Orange County fans with like Alex Trinali last year and even Mark Segbers getting called up just randomly, you know, when they're having a good run with Orange County. It sort of sucks. I understand for the player, that's something you want. You don't want to be stuck. I'm not stuck, but you don't want to be on a USL squad if your game has enough quality to be on an MLS squad. So that's the one maybe negative on a loan like this is I'm sure FC Cincinnati can pull them up whenever they feel like it. But I mean, with the depth and stuff, maybe that won't really come into play.
I think it's just a good opportunity. I mean, if nothing else, Orange County is obviously a quality team because Orange County has more playoff wins than FC Cincinnati ever did. So they obviously recognize the talent and the quality, not only on the pitch, but with the club staff as well. I mean,
and our listeners,
I just had to get that in there. I'm sorry.
Our listeners probably thought they would never have to hear anything about FC Cincinnati again, and now we're talking about them. Because
they're always in like the USL subreddit complaining about attendance. Oh, you guys took a big hit because we left.
Yeah, whatever.
No one cares.
Go eat
It's
your
a
spaghetti
flyover
and
state,
chili.
man. Yeah, exactly.
I refuse to try, and it has to be like a specific like Cincinnati brand of chili. It can't be like some Hormel or something like that. Some weird, I don't know.
You eat Hormel? That's your go-to chili?
No, actually, my go-to chili is Tommy's. So,
okay,
yeah, or the Hat. The Hat also has some good chili. Yeah, I know you're laughing. I can hear you, Dylan.
No, I mean, I brought this upon myself.
We know you like chili from a certain restaurant.
Oh, I don't like it. Actually, my body doesn't like it either. So,
I think we'll have to go there one time and just sort of force feed you some of that chili, Dylan. Let's talk about Darwin Jones really quick. Nominee for goal of the week, right? Yes.
Yes. Sorry, I was typing.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on his chances of winning that, Dylan?
I don't think they're very good. I mean, it's a really great game, but I think everyone kind of knows that no one likes Orange County. No one likes the West Coast.
Are you saying there's an East Coast bias when it comes to?
I would never suggest that, except for either last week or 2 weeks ago when I said those exact words. It was a really good game, or sorry, it was a really good goal. That was a really good game too. I'll give him that. But I would say, much like Aiden Quinn and Thomas Enevoldsen last year with the MVP thing, probably not a huge chance he's going to win. I voted for him on more than one device, so do your part.
You cheater, man! You cheater.
Oh, you don't even want to know what I did with Aaron's.
What about you, Alan? Any shot at Darwin Jones winning that goal of the week?
No, currently he's at 8%. First place is Jose Angulo from Hartford with 40%. I watched.
Hartford needs something. Hartford needs something. So I think that's why fans are voting for it.
He scored like a 40-yard screamer. You got to give him that. Right. It was on SportsCenter.
And yet they still couldn't win.
Well, yeah.
I watched the goals of the week, and some of them are absolutely just amazing. Like, that's going to happen once or twice this season goals. I would like to believe that we see that same goal from Darwin Jones 3-4 more times this season. It's a good goal. It's actually a really great goal, but I don't think it's that holy cow. I'm going to be yelling in the other room while my wife worries about what's happening in the front room, like what happened on Sunday morning goal. But I don't think he has a chance. There's definitely some strong contenders.
Cool. Yeah.
It's my goal of the week, Darwin. It's my goal of the week.
I think it'll win the Orange and Black SoccerCast goal of the week for sure. Really just to backtrack there, because I went away from the chat on our YouTube page as we're doing this live. We do live broadcast our episodes on YouTube. For those of you that can't wait for it to become a podcast, you can listen to us live when we're doing it. And one of our listeners, Logan, basically made his prediction for the match against OKC. He's predicting 3-0 Orange County. And he thinks the goals will come from Harry Forster, Darwin Jones, and Jerry Von Wolfgang. So that's his thoughts. He's thinking another shutout, which would be awesome. What next? So any other Orange County or USL news that we want to discuss, gentlemen?
Thought I had something. I really did. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to talk about it. We're going to post this thing later this week. But honestly, John Arlia is out of his freaking mind, and I'm so sick of these power rankings. The next team with one win in the power rankings is in 26th place.
Well, let's do this. Okay, let's do this.
Oh my god!
It seems like we've now moved on from our weekly, rant at the refs, and now we're into this. Dislike these power ranking things.
Just ranting at the league now.
So
John Arlia and his love affair with Phoenix. I don't understand the league's love affair with teams that are trying to get out of this league.
Yeah, because that's what it was with FC Cincinnati last year, right?
Oh God, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Let's get this. We sort of just now joked about Hartford Athletic and their amazing start to the season, right? I mean, they're 0-6. They're ranked last in the power rankings. Oh, by the way, they only have one less win than a Phoenix Rising FC team that's ranked 4th in the league. But yeah, you look at some of the power ranking stuff. I mean, look at what happened. Like Sacramento loses a match and they drop 6 down the table. They still have a respectable record at 3-2-1. Definitely more wins than Phoenix
Rising. And they lost to a good team.
They did.
I mean, Portland's literally on top of the West right now, thanks to Zach Kobayashi, Orange County Soccer Club alumni.
But they're only ranked 8th in the power rankings. Apparently, your good friend from the USL doesn't believe that they're as good as the record shows them. Yeah, it's. Let's just say it, they like Phoenix.
I don't want to do these power rankings anymore. I'm so tired of writing about how Phoenix doesn't deserve to be in the top 10.
Well, then just ignore Phoenix. Just ignore Phoenix.
What else am I supposed to write about? The Rowdies can't, like, they're good. We all know that.
St. Louis finally lost, maybe?
They're good at losing. Do you remember the Preki years? Oh, those were before you showed. Never mind.
Yeah. What about you, Alan?
Year.
What about you, Alan? What are your thoughts on just anything in general in the power rankings? If you really want to go after Phoenix, go for it. Those guys don't like us anyways, the fans of that club, so we don't really care.
So to be slightly fair to Phoenix, their next 2 matches are Austin and Tacoma, which would put them at 7 games played, and they're probably going to win both of those. Definitely going to win Tacoma, unless Seattle sends some folks down. They have a pretty good chance of beating Austin, and that point puts them at 13 points with 7 games played, which puts them even with New Mexico. Sacramento, if they win, puts them above Tulsa and even with Portland. So it's not like Phoenix is bad, but I do think power rankings need to reflect how teams are currently playing. And like I said earlier, the Speedway soccer guys, they do kind of like an ELO rating. And right now they have Phoenix as 7th in the West, kind of between Real and Tulsa. So it's a little bit, I think, more accurate. Has Fresno above Sac Republic. Top 4, Portland, New Mexico, Fresno, Sac Republic. I'm going to go with these guys. Like I was hitting up some of the guys at the USL show, and this is the guys that they use. They basically create a statistical analysis as opposed to, this is how I feel about Phoenix. So it gives a little bit fairer power rankings. I'm definitely going to use these guys to compare against those USL rankings because some of them are crazy. I agree.
Let's do this. Maybe we should start a GoFundMe page offering to pay for Seattle to send their players down to Tacoma for that match. We'll pay for their airfare to do it.
I think they have sponsors, like corporate sponsors for that, so I don't think we need to worry about it.
I know we briefly talked about last week, but let's talk about sort of how ridiculous these two teams are that do this type of stuff. Because even the announcers on the Orange County versus Tacoma match were saying that pretty much against Sacramento it was a full MLS roster. Does the league need to do something about this to maybe control these teams that really aren't showing a desire to consistently win? Or is it something we just have to live with in the USL, at least for now?
I mean, they should, but they're not going to. If you look at other sports, there's no punishment. I mean, you were talking about it a little bit earlier about like people being mad at the Clippers for not tanking. There's no punishment in American sports for tanking. I mean, like maybe if you're a really small side and no one shows up and your team folds, but like an MLS2 team isn't going to fold. There's so much money already up there that, yeah, why be competitive when you could just like try out a different game plan every week? And, oh, these guys aren't playing on the international break, so why don't you throw them down so they get another 90 minutes? It's totally stupid, but they're not going to do anything about it. They just need to restructure how the league works and kick all of those teams out and just be done with it.
Yeah, to be fair, Will Bruin, who was one of the guys who was sent down from Seattle to Tacoma for that Sacramento game, scored a brace against Toronto FC in the MLS on the 13th. So goes down, plays a USL game, scores a goal. I think the only goal or an important goal, and then comes back up to Seattle and scores 2 for the MLS side. Yeah, he was having that guy in the USL. It's like, that's going to skew some win records for Tacoma. Maybe something like moving some 2 teams down to USL League One and then creating some sort of rule like baseball has where you have a certain number of options where you can loan guys down a certain number of times per season, maybe it's per season, maybe it's for their career, where, you know, you can loan some guys down for playing time like that. But it's, you know, once you're out of options, that guy's got to stay out.
Or do something like waivers, like what hockey does, and then this guy Will Bruin's got to clear waivers if he's going to go play for Tacoma, so that every other team in the MLS is like, oh yeah, we'll give him a shot. Sure, we'll pay that salary.
Well, I think it's like what you were saying, Alan. It's like in baseball. I think you could do so many, and then after you do so many, it becomes you have to put them on waivers if you want to send them down again, which would maybe make sense. Or I like the idea of maybe just make any loan. It has to be a season-long loan or something like that. But of course, that probably
like a short-term emergency loan, not this like one-game loan. Go play 90 minutes and then get back to wherever you're. It sucks for the players too. I mean, if you think about it, that's like a random night that you probably weren't planning on spending in a hotel room instead of your house. If you're a dude like Will Bruin, I mean, you're in your 30s, probably have a family, probably have a kid or something. Now all of a sudden, you know, a lot of these teams get like hours before or the day before. Oh, hey, dude, like if you play for San Jose, oh, hey, dude, you're going to be in Reno tomorrow night or wherever Reno's playing.
That's where I want it to be.
Oh, you get to go home from training and tell your wife or your family, oh, yeah, so can't make it. Got to go do whatever it is I need to do. God knows where. And then for the teams that are those two teams, you sign a contract with the two team, and then what? This random dude shows up for a game, and you've tried really hard in training all week, and then you don't even get to dress for the game because he took your spot. That sucks too. It's a total losing situation for players, and honestly, I think the league as well. No one benefits from this unless you're, I guess, Will Bruin. Your Will Bruin USL stats benefit.
Well, and you look at it like, so obviously, you know, what Tacoma did to Sacramento, it benefits us as a team, Orange County, because Sacramento is going to be one of our direct competitors for positioning in the West. So in that sense, yay, I'm glad that happened, you know, let it happen against all the top teams. But it sort of sucks for a team put in that situation where, you know, ultimately when the season comes to an end, that one extra loss can definitely impact Sacramento's or any other team that this may happen to, their positioning and their playoff seeding, and potentially losing an extra home match in the playoffs, which, you know, hurts the fans and hurts the team's revenue because it's one less match they have a chance to make money off of. All because a team basically that doesn't care is just sending players up and down whenever they want. You know, I think with Orange County, we only have the one loanee, right? I mean, everyone else is a roster player. So it's interesting. Let's do this. Anything else you guys want to discuss before we move on?
Happy belated birthday to Giovanni Ramos-Godoy.
We're going to make you the official birthday person of Orange and Black SoccerCast. We'll take one of those big gigantic cakes to the stadium next game and next home game, and you can be inside it, and we'll have you
it's the beginning of the season. These guys got to still be training, you know. We got to get them like a protein shake or something.
No, but we're going to put you inside the cake, and you can pop out and say happy birthday.
But we already said Alan's going to do that. He's the new guy.
Alan's going to do that. Okay. Oh, yeah. There you go, Alan. That's your next assignment.
Nothing says happy birthday like a protein shake.
Or you holding a protein shake
I
jumping out
for
of a cake.
Socks when holidays whenever they come around, so you know they're a necessity.
No, for sure. I don't disagree with socks. They're a great present.
Protein shakes also a necessity.
Not a necessity.
Yeah, if you see Liam Trotter after he gets subbed off, 10 minutes later he's drinking a protein shake while he's sitting on the bench. You tell me they're not a necessity.
Yeah, but you can't put candles on a protein shake.
You could, but they would sink in.
True.
And probably also extinguish. This is why we don't have corporate sponsors to pay for my trip to Portugal and or Brazil.
Because we start going on random conversations.
Yeah, maybe we should get like a candle. Does anyone know a candle company? I know there's a lot of candle companies in a small town in Wales, but
I doubt they listen to us.
You don't think we can get like, oh, we were going to stop by with the muscle milk protein shake for Godoy's birthday.
It could be birthday cake flavored. Dude. Oh man, if this hasn't happened already, we've got a new business idea here.
What birthday? I'm sure there's a birthday cake flavored protein shake. They probably have every flavor imaginable.
The Orange and Black SoccerCast presents birthday cake protein shake. It even rhymes. It's perfect.
Now we got to be like Migos and put together a bunch of words about protein shakes and
you just say protein shake like repeatedly. You could be like J. Cole.
protein shake.
We'll just do a Motivate cover of
Shake.
him just saying protein
Shake.
shake.
Go for it, Dylan. Show us how it would sound.
No, I don't actually know how that song goes. It's been a while since I've had to play that song at work.
All right, let's get into the end of things here. Let's get to our random thoughts of the episode. We're going to go with, who do we want to go with first? Anyone want to volunteer? All right, Alan, you go because you unmuted first.
All right. Random thought is it's baseball season, and I don't know how this happened, but I woke up one morning and the Padres were in first place. Like, I don't know. They're like
It's
still
a dream.
right? Like, I was like, the Padres, and I thought it was like, they're tied. No. They were like legitimately in first place by a couple of games. It's the first time it's happened since I think 2015 or something crazy. And it's probably only going to last for like 3 more games. So we got to ride this wave while the Padres are still ahead of the Dodgers.
What about you, Dylan? Random thought.
Shout out to the Columbus Blue Jackets for winning their first NHL postseason series, knocking out the President's Trophy winning Tampa Bay Lightning in 4 games handily. It was impressive to watch. Other than that, I thought I had something really good for this week, but no, I guess not. I've forgotten. So, I did come up with a Darwin Jones chant, so we'll see if other people like that. And
what is the chant?
No, we'll get. I'm not gonna sing the chant by myself.
Why not, man? You gotta let our fans hear it.
I'm not a musician. My literature recommendation for this week is actually a 2-parter, and we're going back to American literature, jumping about 400 and almost 500 years into the future from last week's. This week I'm recommending At the Cadian Ball and The Storm by Kate Chopin. Both really great, and like anything in American literature, if you just think about things like race and social class, it's a really easy story to understand, and you'll get a lot out of it. So I know no one reads these things anyways, but have at find copies of those things in PDF form on the first page of Google.
And I think, Dylan, I'm going to change your official podcast name to the Alex Trebek of the Orange and Black SoccerCast, because anytime there's a French sounding word, you go full on French accent, French pronunciation of whatever when you say it. So you're going to be the Alex Trebek of the Orange and Black SoccerCast.
Well, I'm really good at Jeopardy too, so I'll take it.
All right, cool.
Shout out to the guy who's winning Jeopardy. He's like 550K in like 6 days or something. He's killing it.
I haven't watched Jeopardy ever, so I have no idea who you're talking about. Let's do this. I have 2 things to discuss really quick. First off, and this, Alan, I'm probably going to ask you to help me out with this, because I've listened to sports talk radio for 20-something years of my life. I used to listen to a station. They're still around, sort of, but it's changed throughout the years. Extra Sports. They're now like AM 570 Dodger Radio, whatever they called. But they had a person on the air called Lee Hacksaw Hamilton that I just listened to religiously every day. And when that station sort of changed formats, I know he went down to San Diego. He's part of San Diego Radio. There's a sports radio station down in San Diego that apparently had some sort of dispute with the Mexican company that owned their Mexican radio towers. What is it? The Mighty 1090 or something like that, right, Alan? I know he was on that station for a time being, maybe 10 years ago or whatever it was. And it's probably a station that I've listened to even up until as recently as a few months ago, just randomly when there's only like a Dodger and an Angel game on the 2 sports stations that I listen to here. I'll throw that one on just to get a chance to listen to it. Apparently they went off the airwaves and they're all digital as of now. Is that correct, Alan?
That's correct. Yeah, it was like all of a sudden they were just like, you guys aren't on the air anymore. And they've just been doing their shows on the Mighty 1090 app and on the Mighty 1090 website. They're streaming their shows like normal. The guys are going in like normal. It's really good sports talk radio. It's Ben and Woods in the morning. Great baseball guys. Darren Smith is like the mid-afternoon guy, and he loves soccer. They bring up like the Prem, they bring up La Liga, they like get into MLS, like they get into some soccer stuff in the afternoon or mid-afternoon with Darren Smith. Really good dudes. And yeah, they're broadcasting digitally right now while they try to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and props to them for at least finding a way to still do it and be willing. I could picture some people be like, dude, we're off the air. We're only doing digital. I'm going elsewhere. I'm out of here. So props to them to continue that up. And like you said, people that talk about soccer on sports talk radio, that's very rare. I don't think I ever hear much soccer being talked about on our local sports stations up here in Orange County, LA area, except for, very little conversations. So hopefully something happens there. I know I probably won't get to hear it as much anymore because part of the reason I could tune into them is I'm in South Orange County. They were on one of those super blaster Mexican radio towers, so there was less restrictions on how powerful a signal they could throw out there or whatever. So, but yeah, I still can, I guess, listen to them on the stream. Second thing I want to discuss or talk about is I got to give props to my son. He played a soccer game this weekend. His team won 2-0. He scored both of the goals, amazingly off of 2 awesome passes from his teammates. So the whole team did awesome. But of course, I'm going to be a father, and I'm going to be excited for him for getting those 2 goals, 2 really good goals. And he actually had an opportunity at a hat trick, but his first goal was an awesome save by the other team's goalie. But props to him for a great match. And hopefully they'll continue it this week. We actually have a match the day before Easter this Saturday. So we'll see if we can keep that up.
Ooh, what time? Can I go? Can I cheer on your kids the whole time?
Dylan, you're always welcome to come out.
You never tell me where they are. You say this and then you never tell me where they are.
I will text you, or I'll tell you when we get off the air here, the time and location of that game. Come on out and cheer them on. It's in San Clemente, so it might be a little bit of a drive, but if you're willing to make it, go for it.
You should bring Alan up if it's that far south.
I know, Alan, you could make it up there even. You're not too far away. Let's do this really quick. Dylan, where can our listeners find you if they want to follow you on social media?
OCSC_Dylan on both Twitter and Reddit. You can also find us, as in the podcast, on Reddit at OCSC_SoccerCast. I probably won't reply if you use that account, but that does auto-link all of our posts onto the Orange County SC subreddit, which is another good place to find me and other wonderfully like-minded individuals. I think that's it for stuff I am remotely in charge of.
Alan, what about you?
You can find me at _Underwood48 on the Twitter machines, although right now it's mostly just replays of the Mo Salah goal and yeah, brilliant. And the soccer's making the playoffs. So if you want to put up with those 2 things.
Gotta love watching the Sockers play soccer. You could find me on Twitter at DJ Ray Zamora. You can also find the Orange Black SoccerCast Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast. You can find us on Facebook by searching for Orange and Black SoccerCast. We are part of the Beautiful Game Network. BGN.FM is where you can find our show plus many others. And they also have written stuff. If you like written stuff, we have it on our website, but they also have it on theirs. So you could check that out. You can also follow them on Twitter. We're going to get the Twitter right this time. It's at the BGN FM. At the BGN FM is where you can follow them on Twitter. They also have their written work or their written Twitter page, which I think is at BGN Written. And yeah, with that, I want to thank all of our listeners that continue to listen to us each and every episode. We appreciate it. If you're listening to us for the very first time, feel free to go back and check some previous episodes and listen to what we have to say about Orange County soccer, plus a bunch of other nonsense that we like to talk about from time to time. With that said, I am Ray for the Orange and Black SoccerCast, and we are out. Orange County, you are my team until the day I die. And when that happens, I'll still be singing way up in the sky. Whoa, Orange County, you are my team until the day I die. And when that happens, I'll still be singing way up in the sky. Whoa. Podcasts are a great way for your business to advertise to target audiences. And the Orange and Black SoccerCast is looking for advertisers like you. If you're interested in advertising your business on our podcast, please email us at info@orangeandblacksoccercast.com. The Orange and Black SoccerCast has joined forces with many other soccer podcasts, many of them focusing on the USL. We're now part of the Beautiful Game Network, bgn.fm.